ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Just Your... Oh, my goodness gracious, now I can't even talk. What is going on? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello, good sir. And do you know why we're here and why life is worth living this week?
Because we are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. Happy to be back in the saddle.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
Greetings and salutations, good sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we did not have a show last week, and that was because I was in the land of the mouse, the one and only Mickey. We went down to Orlando, and we survived.
Did you get to meet your best friend?
Let's see here. I got my picture taken with Olaf from Frozen. I got my picture taken with, I think, Stitch and possibly Mickey and Pluto. I don't remember if I was taking a lot of the pictures, so I was behind the camera.
Nice.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, the Thursday Night Hangout is a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. At any point during the show, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics, opinions that you would like to share with the class, by all means, drop it in the chat. If you do, and we'll try to add it to the show. If we do run out of time, we'll add it to the very next show. That being said, if you are watching this recorded, of course, we won't be able to answer your questions because it's a recording. It's not live. But that's okay. We will try to add it to the very next show. Anything that you add in the comments, be it on our website, www.alterconfusion.com, on YouTube, on Facebook, and, of course, Patreon, Discord, all the places.
Basically all of the internets.
Yes, of course, all of the internets. Okay, so we've got a couple topics that we can go over that have been kind of stockpiling since we did miss last week. So the first topic I want to talk about is, we had the unfortunate news about the fact that one of our beloved sci-fi writers was not as squeaky clean as we dreamed of. And so there was some fallout that was happening. Of course, one of the big fallouts was what was going to happen. And we're, of course, talking about Neil Gaiman. What is going to happen with Good Omens Season 3? Because once all of the information started coming out, Neil Gaiman did say, I'm going to step away from Good Omens. But, of course, Amazon's not going to support that type of behavior or actions or any of that jazz. But they do finally have some information. That is that there will sort of be a third and now final season of Good Omens. The news just came out, I think, within the last couple days, and that is that Good Omens Season 3 is going to be squished into an itty-bitty bite-sized piece of a 90-minute movie. So instead of your normally scheduled, I don't know how many episodes a season they were doing for it. I feel like 12 is probably around the right number. I feel like all the shows are now doing 12 episodes.
Between 8 to 12.
8 to 12, it seems to be that. It's funny, like when we were growing up, most TV series, I think, usually got 24 episodes a season? Now we're down to 12 or 8, depending. A lot of the anime is 8, which really makes me sad. But, I digress.
Season 1 was 6 episodes.
Was how many episodes?
6.
And then Season 2 was 7.
It's being dumb and not showing me.
I would guess. Or maybe 6 again. Because it says there's a total of 13 episodes. So,
so
6.
that'd be 6 or 7.
6, and then 1.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I see 6 and 6. But I guess that's the question, though, because if you think about it, though, so many of those shows that were 24 episodes were procedurals. I think of the NCISs and the, CSIs and all of those shows. And it's one thing to, how many crime episodes can you come up with for 24 episodes versus, if it's a not procedural, I guess whatever the opposite of procedural is actually called, then now all of a sudden you need to have a story. Like, that's a lot of storylines to have without just having crap, basically.
Right.
So like, I get it, because so many of the TV shows, like nowadays, they are serialized. Like, it's one big continuous story instead of just having like the Monster of the Week episodes. Right. So you're right. At the same time, I'm like, man, I would love to have my 24 episodes of, whatever the show is I'm watching on Netflix. But at the same time, the flip of it is now you're getting, high quality content for that, let's just say 6 to 12 episodes. So I can see both sides of it. I guess the question is, do you want more episodes with some potential crap in there, or do you want to have, high quality episodes, which granted they may not actually be high quality, they could still be crap, but that's the theory.
I would like to have somewhere between like I want basically, I don't want a show that only lasts 6 or 8 episodes, but I also do not want like the Dragon Ball Z treatment of, to watch an entire fight, you have to watch 10 episodes, because every single episode, the first 8 of the 10 episodes revolving around this one fight are basically like 2 attacks, and then they do side story.
Oh, that sounds
In
annoying.
This episode, Goku throws a right punch and kick. All right, now let's talk about Bulma and Krillin going shopping for their new car. Like, what the? Anyways, but yes.
I'm sure there's fan cuts that like cut out all the cruff and just show you the fight.
Yeah, the non-fluff. Now, of course, what a lot of people have said is, this is kind of what happened with the live action One Piece season 1, is that it's basically no fluff. One Piece is also notorious for lots of fluff. Now, with having over 1,000 episodes, I'd be very curious to see, if you were to cut out all the fluff from One Piece, how many episodes, or the equivalent of episodes, which I guess it's technically 24 minutes. If you were to divide the non-fluff by 24, how many episodes worth of content they would actually have?
18.
It would probably still be in the hundreds, Zealeus, and not 18.
I was throwing out a number. I have no damn clue.
That would be funny as hell, though.
Yeah. Turns out it's 0.
It's actually episode and a half. No. But yeah. Just out of curiosity, since we were talking about episode length, I was curious to see how many episodes the season Game of Thrones had, and they had 10. So.
Yeah. And you think about it, because like, remember though, the older show, like when you did have the 24 episodes, you would also have like the end of season, like the half seasons. Yep. So I remember that was a big thing. Like you would get like, what was it? The mid-season finale, and you get the mid-season premiere. So like around like November, you'd kind of end your serialization, and then like after the holidays in January, all of a sudden you'd have it again. So it almost like sometimes you kind of break it up into like 2 seasons. But I think if, that was the one downfall at times of the CW shows like the Arrowverse, because those were 24 episodes.
Right.
But like you have the overarching arc of like the Flash will face the double Flash or the reverse Flash. But then you'd have like 3 random tangent storylines in that same season, and they definitely dragged on at times. I think the overall storytelling would have been better if you could have cut some of that cruft out. So I could see it both ways. Yeah. But I think for cable, like non-cable stuff, so the Netflix and the Amazons, we're never getting those again. I think the 24 episodes. Yeah. You still see it on, cable TV, like Grey's Anatomy and I guess they still have CSI and NCIS. I'm assuming they're still on
reboots
television.
now.
Are they all in the? No, I think the OG NCIS is still on.
But they've removed like almost everybody.
I don't think they have a original character left.
No, they've all. Well, McGee might still be there. But anyways,
no, I thought McGee joined like season 2 or 3.
did he?
I don't remember. I don't think he's been there since. I could be wrong, but I don't think he was there in season 1. Actually, now I have to know.
All right,
because I watched like I think 18 seasons of NCIS. I watched a lot. So yeah. But I haven't watched. I have not watched NCIS in a long time myself.
No. Anyways, so while Zealeus is looking this up, I do want to pass on. This was some information that actually happened like at the beginning of the month. I'm not exactly sure if we talked about this or not, and I apologize if we have, but I'm going to bring it up again because we brought up Dragon Ball Z, and that, of course, is the very famous voice, the narrator, the announcer for all of the Dragon Ball. Was it Dragon Ball Z? Yeah, Dragon Ball Z episodes, plus a bunch of other stuff. Doc Harris has unfortunately passed. He was the guy who would be like, in this episode, Goku does a left kick.
I never even seen the show, and I know that voice.
It was a very recognizable voice, so it's real sad. It's sad news that Doc Harris has passed. He was not a spring chicken. He passed away at the age of 76, so he'd been doing it for a bit.
And by the way, Timothy McGee has been in there since season 1, but it looks like he was not all of season 1. He was like halfway through season 1.
Well, there you go.
But still, that he's been in there 457 episodes. That's a lot.
It is indeed a lot.
That is a lot of episodes of TV. Goodness gracious.
Okay. The next topic on the docket is let's talk about the fact that there is an upcoming season of Zealeus' favorite game, and that, of course, is Overwatch 2. And it starts, I believe, December 17th. That, of course, is season 14 of Overwatch 2. And in that is I don't know if it's infamous or maybe desired or expected, but this is when you're going to see the return to 6v6.
Wait, what? They're moving back to 66? When did that happen?
Season 14 of Overwatch 2.
I knew they were talking about it, but I didn't know it actually happened.
So they're set December 17th. It is going to start. Now, there are some caveats to the 6v6. The first one is that there are going to be basically 2 different parts to season 14. Or I guess like something's going to be added to season 14 that's not going to be available at the beginning. And that, of course, is, yeah. Okay. Anyways, starting December 17th, they are going to do 6v6. It's going to be min 1, max 3. What that means is each role must have at least 1 hero, but can have up to 3 on your team.
Oh. Fascinating. That's actually kind of interesting, to be honest. Because so back in Overwatch, it was basically you could do free for all, so there's no limits, or basically 2-2-2. So kind of having a 1-3 is an interesting difference. My guess is there will be some kind of meta around.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like what I mean by that is is it going to be optimal to have 3 tanks, 2 DPS, 1 support, whatever it is? There's going to be some gravitation towards what is the optimal ratio. In theory, to win is totally going to happen at some point.
Yeah. Now, Zealeus alluded to the 2-2-2. That mode is the classic design philosophy mode. is actually going to become available beginning in 2025.
So what I'm curious of, how are they going to balance all this? Because, like, I'm assuming they're going to nerf the tanks because it's been 1-2-2.
Yep.
So the tank was naturally more strength or strong than the rest of the characters because it was only one of them. So I'm assuming there's going to have to be a nerf to the tanks to kind of compensate for that. Otherwise, everyone's going to do 3 tanks and just that'd be
Bully
interesting. Yeah, so I'm assuming that'll happen at some point. But what I do appreciate, I mean, I don't play Overwatch anymore. What I do appreciate was, so when Overwatch 1, like in the last 2 years, like they did nothing. Like those 2 years were just stagnant, like no new releases. Like there were some balance changes, but there was really nothing of substance. Right. So I'll say, at least, like, regardless of whether or not this works and it's a good idea, I think it's good that they're trying and seeing. And guess what? If it doesn't work, it's an epic fail. Then okay, you go back to the 1-2-2, right. And at least you've done it, and you can be like, hey, we tried to do this and it failed. So I mean, I personally don't, I'm sure people are wailing and gnashing for reasons, because people do, but I think it's good that they're trying something new, try something different, and see what happens. So I say go for it.
Sorry, I was trying to, oh my Lord, I cannot speak. I'm trying to see that if our audio is lining up. It sounded like it, but it's kind of hard to do it midstream. Anyways, so they are right now, I think, season 13 is starting like now, and they're doing they're doing a limit of 2. Each role is limited to 2 heroes. Tanks are tuned to open queue balance, which I have no idea what the hell that means, but sure.
Yeah, because most likely, my guess is what's going to happen is the meta is going to be 3 tanks, 2 support, and 1 DPS, which is going to be interesting to see what it does queue times, because tanks is the least played, or least queued, I should say, and DPS is the most queued. So it's gonna it's like an inverse pyramid of what it'll do, basically. So like that's probably gonna be the meta. So that's gonna be fascinating to see how that goes. Right. But we'll just have to see how it goes. For sure, 3 tanks will be the meta. I would be very surprised if that's not the case. But we'll just have to see what they do to the current tanks in season 16 in terms of nerfing them to balance it out.
So speaking of, I guess, balancing things out, let's talk about the fact that, since Microsoft seems to be buying up most companies these days, and of course part of their antitrust agreement, or to stave off this antitrust stuff, is that all their games were going to be ported. It is now coming out that after numerous negative reviews of games that they have ported over to systems such as PlayStation 5, their porting of titles is going to be slowing down. They are going to take more time to port their stuff over there, which I'm kind of surprised that they weren't already like dragging their feet. Not that I'm not saying that. I mean, they could drag their feet all they want, because as long as it comes out, I think is basically how it's how the contract's written. But
well, and how many times have we seen in mergers, companies must do X, Y, Z, and then they break X, Y, Z within a month, and like once the merger's already happened, it's like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. Shame on you. So it's kind of like, I mean, nothing's going to happen to them. Let's be honest. I mean, that's just
they'll be like, "Ooh, you better do better." That's basically the extent of what they're going to be able to do to them now that they're basically in the driver's seat.
Yep. Whatever. Or they could just do a better job on creating ports, and then people would want to buy their product on the said port. But that'd be too, that wouldn't be as much
Well,
fun.
another thing is that this could actually benefit Microsoft in the long run, because if they have to, if they're like, oh yeah, well, you'll get the port, but it's going to take longer, there is a small chance that the port is going to be really solid, and you're not going to have, what was it, what was the Batman one that they had to literally do a full recall of one of the platforms?
It was Arkham Horror, Arkham Asylum, I think.
So one of those, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, less chance of that. Although that was back when there, the digital and the physical, I think, was pretty much split down the middle, because 50-50. So there was a lot of like physical recall, which sucks for a company.
Well, the better solution would just be don't make a shitty product.
How about you allow company? Let's go. Can we go back? I mean, I understand. Yes, we're moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We have everybody's got to get your new shiny thing out in front as many people as possible before anyone else makes a clone of it. You can't keep everything under wraps and secret, because you need to build that hype in order to get those sales. It does cost a lot to make a game, but I would love for developers to actually have a finished product before they actually push it out, instead of we'll fix it later.
You just speaked so much blasphemy that you made me sneeze. I'm allergic to your truth.
I'm sorry, but I want the old days, man. Well, I can't. No, not the true old days. I want like the early days of Blizzard is what I want. That kind of.
So you're saying is make gaming great again.
Yeah. Yes. Make gaming good. Speaking of good, I'm still.
Remember though, even like Diablo 2 had a major issue with loot lag. Yeah. And then creating duping because of that. Old school WoW had crazy lag issues, and half the time you couldn't fly correctly on your little bird dude.
Back in the day when you only had like, if you had a mount, and now you got a dude who's trying to get his 1,000th mount. How times have changed.
When mounts were actually hard to get. Yeah.
You back in the day, you had to sell your soul for a mount.
I sold my soul, and all I got was this lousy mount.
A horse that turns out to be purple. Not that there's anything wrong with a purple horse, but if you're looking for, I don't know, like a lightning bolt horse, and you get a purple horse, you get a little depressed.
I always did appreciate. I played a warlock, and because some classes actually had like mounts specific to their classes, and so I had the Dreadsteed mount that like had like the flames coming out of the hoofs and shape. It was badass. I do kind of miss that mount.
Now let's talk about something that's not badass. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that we have all these beautiful tools out here that are AI driven to help you write better resumes, better emails, help you edit your stories, whatever. However, let's keep it to just the editing and not the true 100 or 98% creation. There is a scientific magazine. I'm trying to remember what it's called, Clark's World. It is an online fantasy and sci-fi science fiction magazine, and they take user submissions. And it turns out that that they have just been inundated constantly by AI, as they put it, AI-generated slop. And that it's getting so bad at times that they've actually had to shut down submissions, which, there's so many different places you could basically put your story up, but actually allow some, if you, sometimes certain activities or certain things are not for you. Like me, I will never be a baseball player. I do not have that eye-hand coordination. So, um, if writing isn't, if it's not your forte and you require basically 98% assistance, perhaps try something else, or just read books, or
Here's the tricky part that you gotta remember. Obviously I don't know the age of people submitting
Yeah.
this, but we have to keep in mind that we're very quickly getting off the yelling at kids to get off of our lawn stage, because the upcoming generation, they don't see anything wrong
Right.
with this. Like, it's a very different way of interacting in the world, because nowadays, remember, like every product now, like the iPhones, the Androids, hell, my stupid PDF editor keeps on screaming at me to use AI, and I don't know why I'm using AI in a PDF I can't edit. Good Lord. It's everywhere. And so, like, there's this whole thing when you're inundated with AI and it's just going to make your life easier. What's wrong with it? I mean, you and I could give reasons why it's not ethically okay, but that's what's going through a person's mind when that's what they've known, that's all they've seen. It's a different way of how to look at creating content. And so this is a changing reality of, content. And I would say of the AI created things, the two things that are super easy, doesn't mean they're good, but they're easy, are words in the forms of, short stories and books, and artwork. And so I think those are the two things that people are not going to see ethical issues with doing. And so it's not just a matter of, oh no, don't do that. But when you're saying like people should not do this, they're gonna be like, why? And we can give all the reasons, and they're just not gonna see an issue with it. So I think that is the upcoming reality of what's happening. And all these companies that are gonna have, and us are gonna have to deal with the repercussions and how to deal with that.
Well, I mean, one of the big things that's become more prevalent, and now a lot of people are trying to disguise it a little bit better, is the fact that we have a ton of websites that people go to find out information about a movie or a video game or some sort of service or appliance, and there are quite a few reviewers out there who basically just allow AI to go through the entire web, pull in all the information, and then build a review off of that, and then they post it and call it their own.
Yep. That is where we're at. And I don't know. It is what it is. There's no stopping it.
Yeah.
The floodgates have opened. So, yeah.
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 Anywho, speaking of, I don't want to say it's not technically illegal, but I guess it is illegal. There is a program that a lot of people had basically downloaded or installed, I should say, on their oh my gosh, I just totally blanked out on the Steam Deck, Steam handheld. Jeez almighty.
Okay.
It's called the Junk Store. And basically until they now there's many different people out there who will say why it was removed from the Steam store. Some people would say because the creators behind the Junk Store wanted to make a paid version of it, and Steam was said no. Other people think that it was because what they were doing was kind of rewriting some of the Steam code. Basically, what the Junk Store did, it allowed individuals to install, or sorry, it would allow you access to your Epic Games Store library through game mode, which of course made it easier to access your games while on your Steam Deck.
That sounds useful.
Yes, it does. Now, some people say I was reading a bunch of stuff, and some people say that it went even further than just the Epic Game Store. It also allowed you to have access to your GOG, which is good old games library as well, which of course super useful. However, it's you didn't purchase the game through Steam, and so you know that's that gray area.
So it's like sideloading on your iPhone.
So the game,
yes.
the application is no longer available. And of course, there are people who are like, "Well, we got to find, another way to do this." So,
I mean, I get it because it's like you own that physical device, and you want to be able to do whatever you want to do with it. So, I do get that side of it also.
Well, I mean, a lot of people view it as just a handheld PC,
which it kind of is. It's a handheld PC with Linux installed. Well, I mean, I know you can install Windows and other stuff on it, but that's what it comes as. Yeah. I mean, I hear the Steam Deck's a really nice device, so there is that.
Yes.
I've heard good things about it, especially the OLED version. It's apparently pretty sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna have to. I have to excuse myself for like 4 seconds, possibly. My dog is scratching at the door. I do not want him to pee in my house. 1 sec.
Oh dear, that would be very awkward if Charlie's dog came onto the show and started peeing on the show through the door. I don't know if that's even possible. I'd be kind of actually very impressed if that were to happen.
All right, the dog is out. I will have to jump up in a second when he scratches the door to come back in because he is an impatient son of a gun.
So he hasn't peed yet?
No, he hasn't peed yet. Now he's outside. He'll pee. He might come straight to the door, start scratching the crap out of the door, or he may go explore the entire backyard. We'll find out.
It's an adventure time.
It is an adventure time. Speaking of adventure time, ladies and gentlemen, I know that, as you can see in the background, this is still not the Alter Confusion office. I do have an update for you on that. And that is for the foreseeable future. This is going to be the background. My insurance company has decided to deny my claim. So I have to figure out how the heck to pay for the replacements or the repairs and whatnot. So more on that later.
Wow. I love paying thousands of dollars for insurance only for them to fuck you over.
Technically, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a homeowner, and there's the dog scratching the door, but I'll tell you this real quick. If you are a homeowner, make sure that groundwater penetrating from outside to or exterior to the interior is covered under your insurance.
Did they call it flood? Because I know, like, those reports, especially like in Florida, of people being denied of claims, and it's because most insurances technically don't cover flood insurance or cover floods in general. So if you get a flood, regardless of, flood susceptible or not, then they don't cover it because they're like, it was a flood, sucks to you, basically. So did they basically consider it a flood? Oh, yeah. So like I said, like most people don't have flood insurance because that's a separate rider you have to get. That sucks. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Fun fact. Also, something we're going into a homeowner rant here, but if you own, here's another fun thing. Another fun fact. Most homeowners insurance doesn't actually cover anything that happens outside of your foundation. So if you have like a sewer pipe that bursts in the front of your house, outside of your house, like in your front yard or your backyard or wherever, that's not covered under insurance because that's outside the footprint. Just another fun fact.
Sometimes life just feels like a scam.
It is. It
In the words of Meatloaf, life is a lemon and I want my money back.
nickels and dimes you to death.
Oh,
Anyways, on a I guess on a more positive note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alter Confusion be the Alter Confusion that you love and adore. No matter where Alter Confusion's office might be at this very current moment, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the friends of the show. And the first one to talk about is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give, of course, is to the AV master himself. That, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. The next shout out we got to give is to an individual who's was actually at my house earlier today, and that, of course, is the guy who can help all your aches and pains leave through some adjustments here and there. If you're in the greater Atlanta area, you definitely have to check out Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic's unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make the plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the music maestro himself, CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion? CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. Now the final one is the original backer through Patreon of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Now I'm going to pause briefly so I can close my door so I don't let the entire nature come flying in from outside. So 1 second.
I don't know. I think nature's kind of rad, and you should grow a tree behind you where the curtain is. Get a little ambience going with the nature. I think you might actually be onto something that you just haven't thought about.
If there was a screen, I would love to hear the noises of nature outside. However, I do not need all the bugs that fly in. And of course, my dog is going to start to pick a fight with somebody who's probably walking on the street. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I know that at this point, you are dying to know, how do I become a friend of the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout? Well, I'm here to tell you that Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you. And so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, vampires, werewolves, swamp creatures, mummies, supporters, and more to become active participants and work in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers that you can subscribe to. There's the $1 a month tier, that's $1 a month or $12 a year. What you get is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. Now, if you're feeling a little frisky, you could bump that up to the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. And not only do you get everything at the $1 tier, but you also gain your name or organization added to the Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday night hangout. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to become a patron of Altered Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. Now, the other shout out we got to give is the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, for the 13th year straight, Altered Confusion is proud to say that we are fundraising for Extra Life. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion today.
Isn't that coming up
soon? It is coming up very soon, in like 2 weeks. And as of right now, I will attempt to try to do the 24-hour Game-a-thon from this very seat. I cannot promise that it will go without a hitch. I might have to move it around a little bit or do it during a different time frame, but I will do the 24-hour Game-a-thon as close as possible to when everyone else is doing their thing.
Yeah, that's in 2 Saturdays. Yep.
So,
nice.
Indeed. Okay, now let's jump back into the stories we have here. And the next one is a head scratcher. Chick-Fil-A has announced that they are going to give us a streaming service.
Oh, does it come with chicken?
I was hoping. I don't know. Basically, Chick-Fil-A Play is a streaming service app that's coming in November. It will include animated shows, podcasts, and more. Now, I am going to be brutally honest with you. This feels sneaky and slightly dirty. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Chick-fil-A, but I feel like this is a way to kind of pass on an agenda that I may not be comfortable with. And so I think I'll just order my food and be okay with the food I got and not touch the streaming service with a 37-foot pole.
This definitely sounds like it's some like C-level MBA's pet dream. It's going to last about a month and a half and get shut down because it's not going to make money.
See, here's the thing. My fear is that it is going to be anti-LGBTQ plus in some shape or form, giving us wholesome cartoons or podcasts that are for the children, but will be very slanted in their presentation. That's what scares me. And they may not do that, but
I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be overtly. I think it would be in that there would be the lack of any diversity is what would end up happening.
That too.
Like I don't think. I think from a social awareness aspect, I think they have to realize they're not going to actually have to have any active anti-LGBTQ things going on in the show. But what you won't see is for instance, a lesbian couple, that type, those type of things will not happen on their show.
No, I mean they're not going to slap you in the face with that stuff, but I feel like it would be, there would be this kind of undercurrent of any of the LGBTQ stuff as not outwardly, oh, that's bad, but kind of I don't know. It just gives me a funny feeling.
Won't be any inclusive, is what I perceive. But I'm definitely not their target video audience. So
I'm their target audience for the food, and that's it.
Well, they're gonna they already do all the advertising, which is pretty effective, honestly. And they're somehow going to now redirect that targeting to kids. And then all of a sudden, your kids who want that yummy chicken also, are you like, that chicken is so good. I bet their show is good too. Can we watch the show, Daddy?
The other thing is, don't we have enough freaking streaming services? My God.
Well, and that's why I don't think it would last long, is because I feel like there is so much other stuff out there. To your point, do we need another one? Yeah, that's more so where I don't see the point, is how many other ones are there out there anyways, where I'm like, whereas if they'd done let's just say a partnership with Amazon Prime where they have a CFA TV show, that'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I guess. But to have their own streaming service, I think, is a choice. I'm guessing there'll be some kind of synergistic cohesion with their mobile app, where you can do the cow's going to walk across the screen while you're watching, and if you enter this code into your app, you get $5 off or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll find out.
I mean, I won't be watching it, so I can't verify that, or I won't be able to verify it, but maybe some other schmuck can. Who knows?
All right. Moving on. There was a topic that came up. I guess a question, which is a topic. Charlie, come on, think about this. With a lot of, especially when it comes to these mobile apps, and a lot of multiplayer online stuff, there are certain times during the year where you're going to get themed content. So the question was asked, what do you think of themed content?
I love themed content. Give me themed content. It's my favorite thing in frickin' MMOs is themed content. I love logging into Final Fantasy XIV and seeing the now Jack-o'-lantern Halloween theme. I'm honestly, I haven't logged on to 14 in 3 months. But by God, the next month and a half I'm going to be, because they do the theme for Halloween, and then I guess they call it All Hallows Eve or All Saints Eve or something, but whatever. And then they're going to get to the Christmas season, where, by gosh, my hero of the light is going to save Christmas again. And yes, I'm very proud of that. So yes, I love themes. One of my favorite things in Overwatch was the Christmas themed maps. The Christmas theme, what did they actually call it? Blizzard World. So they have a map that's all Blizzard games. So you have different things from World of Warcraft and StarCraft and different things, and they have a Christmas theme to it. It was absolutely majestic and beautiful.
Winter
Wonderland. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So yes, I'm 100% a sucker for holiday themed things in video games. So yes,
I too enjoy the season stuff, even if it's something small, I do a I do a word. I have this word app that I play a lot of, and they're pretty good at just doing subtle changes. Like the load-in screen has now got pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and people in characters from that world in costume, which is pretty cool to me, because that means that they're in a way it shows that it's at some level there are people still touching the game.
That's a good way. That's actually a good way of looking at it. But it's also kind of you play video games, and it's a way to kind of escape the world. And it's you're now living in a way through that character. Obviously, don't get to take it to a extreme. There's extremes you shouldn't go to. But in a way, you are that character in the game that you're kind of living through. It's a conduit. And so to kind of have those themes, it is kind of a fun way to me to interact with those holiday
Yep.
seasons. Which, by the way, in case you didn't know, and I didn't know this because I was there on Sunday, the aquarium does holiday themes. I didn't know that. They had a whole theme for Halloween. It
You
was
know what
really
definitely
cool.
does Halloween theme? Magic Kingdom.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
They do it
Was it cool?
to the nines, man.
Nice.
Now,
You know, it was a nice Christmas one is the Botanical Gardens
oh
with
yeah,
the lights.
oh yeah, I love going out. I love
They go
doing that
all
too.
they go all out with
Yep.
their Christmas lights.
Um, I do a side note here. Speaking of Magical Kingdom and them doing a little bit extra, because they already taken all of your money. Um, if you are going to the Orlando, there is an app that I highly recommend that you download onto your phone. It is called. I just want to make sure I get it right. It is called Play Disney, and turn on your location services because it allows it. Not only do you do the in the real world park stuff, but there's kind of like a augmented reality type deal that you
Hmm.
can do when you're in the parks. Like at Epcot, um, uh, one of the big things about Epcot is you have all the different countries, which is more focused on,
Yeah.
yes, there's some rides and some shows or whatever, but the main focus to me is always going to be about the food and the drinks.
Oh, those are awesome. Yes. No, the whole foreign country thing is super
So
cool
to
part
make
of it.
it more
Yes.
kid friendly, get this app, the Disney Play app, I think is what it's called, Play Disney, and what my kids and I found out was there was a DuckTale like secret agent game that you could play where you go to different countries and it tells you, okay, look for this spot, and when you're there, hit the OK button, and of course
Oh,
utilizing the GPS, but the coolest thing was not only are you basically doing like an augmented reality scavenger hunt, but for Epcot, when you're in certain areas and you hit the I'm here button, when you press it, it actually caused real world stuff to happen. Like
oh, that's cool.
the display window, all of a sudden you would hear the voice of the bad guy just instructing his henchmen to do something, or um, an item that you're looking for will pop out of a display that's in the middle of a store and scare the crap out of everyone except for you because you're already anticipating it.
Yeah.
And there's other stuff like if you're at Hollywood Studios, there is if you go to the Star Wars section, there is a bounty hunter um, like adventure where you're running all over the Star Wars section trying to find these like um, specific panels by doors, and if you get close enough to them, and you also for that one you have to have a magic band,
Sure.
and the magic band will actually pulse green if you're getting closer to the target, red if you're going the wrong way, and purple once you've captured the target. And then you have to run back to the guild hall to get your bounty credits. And my youngest ate that up. He had 7 successful bounties captured.
And do you get like, is it like tickets where you can get redeem something, or is it just
You get
you're
digital
awesome?
badges through the game, so
Okay.
it's a time killer.
That sounds fun.
There's
That's
also for those if you're not doing the lightning lanes and you're in some of these lines that are really long,
oh
um,
yeah.
there are certain like games that will unlock when it notices that you're basically in that ride's area for an extended amount of time that you can kind of do to pass the time, so you're not just like staring at a wall or staring at the back of the person's the head of the person in front
Sure.
of you for the 45 minutes that you have to wait. You can do, missions and stuff. So
That's cool.
yeah,
Nice.
I was like, damn, that's really smart.
It's better than back in the day when you just sat in the line and you liked it.
Yes, you're just
And
suck it up
you
because
gotta
gosh
know
darn
it.
it, I hope you like this ride. Which by the way, I did ride the roller coaster Everest at Animal Kingdom. It is an awesome roller coaster. Scared the crap out of my eldest, but he stepped up to the plate and rode it. So kudos to him. Now, there was a story. I think this will probably be our last thing. But there was a story recently about a game that was on Kickstarter that was going to fail to reach its goal, and so the developer decided to cancel the Kickstarter before the time elapsed, and
Yep.
immediately within 24 hours pitched another game idea. And to that, I'm just going to say, if the first game idea didn't work out, why would you think that canceling that one and immediately throwing another game idea would succeed where the first one failed?
I'm assuming it was a different game
Yes.
idea. So maybe he thought it was a better.
Then
or
why wouldn't they just
if
go
it's
with
different,
that one first?
Well, okay. So we always talk about like when you're
Yeah.
creating a game, you need outside opinion because you have your own tunnel vision of what you
True,
think is
true.
best or working. So maybe what he thought was best, maybe he was wrong. Or he just decided to create 4 different games and just throw them against the wall and see what
But the
sticks.
thing is, at this point with Kickstarter, you have to have a game that's basically in beta already to do it through Kickstarter, because we are long gone are the days of going, I have this idea for a game. Would be really cool, but I just need the money for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is definitely not the Nerdburger approach where you have it very planned out and detailed and you know exactly what you're doing.
Speaking of Nerdburger real quick, this shows you how much Craig gives a crap about all the people that are backing his stuff. He had sent out the order, or basically, all right, everything's good, everyone's gonna get their stuff, and then he noticed the typo and he canceled everything and immediately gave everyone a heads up. This is what happened. You know, I want the perfect product. There was some placeholder stuff. The fonts on a couple pages weren't right that I missed. I apologize profusely. We're gonna get it fixed.
Wow.
This guy is, I mean, seriously, I know that we keep saying this. He is a friend of the show, but at the same time, if you want to know how to run a successful Kickstarter, Craig has it so freaking streamlined. Okay?
Well, it creates a great product, and he also cares about the product, like, and the customer.
And he also understands how much it's going to cost. That's another huge thing.
That's fair.
Is that there are a lot of people who don't understand how much things are going to cost, and then you get over budget, and that level of stress is insane. When you don't have the money that because you're already over budget because you didn't factor in, I don't know, that you have to live.
I can live off of ramen for the next 4 years.
There are people who are down to just like water and packets of saltines.
Whoa! Salted or unsalted? I like, how bougie are we living here?
They can't afford the salt, Zealeus.
That's harsh, man.
But seriously, I personally, if I had several different ideas for games, and let's just say that I had a bunch of great ideas, I would, as an individual who is a lifetime member of the IGDA, International Game Developers Association, and also a member of the Georgia Game Developers Association, or, you know, there's also local dev meetups and stuff, especially in Atlanta, and a lot of the major cities have this, is if you have a bunch of different ideas that you're thinking, I think that I would want to put this on Kickstarter. Have people try that stuff instead of just immediately putting it on a Kickstarter. If it doesn't fail, taking that one down and then put another one up. There's a better way to do quality assurance or user testing before you, because you also have to remember that canceled thing is now on your permanent record. And if someone who doesn't know you clicks on your profile, is going to show how many campaigns you started, how many you've canceled, how many have failed, and how many you've succeeded in. If you look at Craig Campbell's, I'm pretty sure that he's batting 1,000.
Yep.
So and he's done quite a few. I hope that the individual who did this has had a successful Kickstarter before, because it would really suck if, like, let's say that the first 2 don't work and he cancels them early. It kind of puts a red flag up for me personally, because unless I know the person, although I have been burned by knowing a developer and believing in them to create their product, and then they never do make that product, and they get so wrapped up in creating one piece of their product and then they alienate everybody else. But that's another story for another day.
Well, you also did a whole lot of Kickstarters there for a
Yes,
while.
I was it. I backed a lot of things, because the fact of the matter is, I love when people get excited about their passion project. Having a conversation with an individual, I can kind of tell pretty quick nowadays if you're actually passionate about it, or if you're just going through the paces, or if you're just after the holy dollar sign. If you're going after the holy dollar sign, you're not getting my money. I'm sorry.
Then they just have to be a better salesperson. Maybe they're not doing it right. But like, that's, I mean, on the other side though, like, if you're not going to do it to make money, why do it in the first place?
No, and the thing is, there's individuals who understand they have a golden egg product, and they're proud of that product, and they know they can make serious bank on it, and this is what they want to do. Versus there's a person who basically has like a recipe that's absolutely 100% soulless, and I just don't want to. I don't want to. There's a ton of people out there who will support the soulless product. I'm not saying that no one should support it. There's tons of people who eat that stuff up. That's why there's several iterations of this kind of crap. But for me personally, I want to back something that the individual actually has a true passion about. Craig Campbell. Oh shit! I just forgot the guy's name. Matt something. I apologize. A guy that one of Craig's friends. But hold on, let me see if I can pull it up here. Wet Ink Games is another a guy who he's made a bunch of a pencil and paper RPGs, and you could see how passionate he is. I've actually interviewed him, So, and to be honest with you, there are definitely developers out there that I have interviewed, and I've kind of been like, oh, okay, you're doing this because, you think that you have somehow stumbled upon the magic formula for success. You don't actually give a crap about this product.
Sounds kind of like when you interview for a job and you just kind of have to BS your way through it and trick the person correctly.
Sure.
I mean, you think about it, like, that's most job interviews, because you don't actually know how that person's going to be on a daily basis beyond that hour and a half conversation.
I'm not.
Or it could be a terrible soulless HR person where it just goes through a filter that looks for magic keywords.
But the thing is, and I'm not saying that I can pick up on everyone who is absolutely soulless or does not have the intentions that I want to support, but there are certain things, like when you're trying to sell me on your indie product, that I've kind of gotten a little good at weeding out. Because there are definitely companies, there's definitely developers out there who have had those individuals who are the loudspeaker who's getting paid to amp up the game. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, there are certain individuals out there who are very passionate about their game, but if you try to put them in front of a camera, or you try to talk to them outside of that exact, thing, then you think, oh my God, this guy is way over his head.
Well, there's a reason all the artwork in my house for the last 10 years has been purchased at conventions. It's all like people who I've met and like, oh, you're actually a real person who I know create this product. And, it's not a soulless internet AI display thing that showed up in a Facebook ad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've reached the end of our show. Now, as Zealeus and I stated, I think we stated this before the show, but if we hadn't, I'm just going to repeat it. A week from today is Halloween, so I do believe that there will not be a Thursday night hangout simply because we will be hanging out with children giving candy, or I will at least.
Candy? Wait, I'm not giving out candy. I'm going to eat all their damn candy.
You come over here and help me.
Help you eat all the candy?
Sure.
Got it.
Sure. While the wife's not looking. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you the camera, our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Brother.